Hi everyone, this is Alex from Moonmode, and I am joined here together with... That's your cue, Therése.
I'm Therése from Moonmode as well.
Yeah, she's Therése and I'm Alex, and we've got a thing going here. So Therése is actually playing in VR, and I'm watching it, and we're going to walk you through the basics of how to play Spacefolk City. So let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, we have chapter markers in the YouTube video, so if you go down to the timeline, you'll see chapter markers, which you can skip forward to different parts of this video to check out whatever it is about the game that you're wanting to look at. So yeah, we're going to just walk you through the basics of how to play with a few pro tips sprinkled in for good measure. And the final thing to say is that we'll probably be checking the YouTube video for comments and questions that you have. However, a far better place to get help with playing the game would be our Discord server. So please have a look at the links in the description, and there you can find an invite link for our Discord server where you can come and speak to us directly or interact with the other wonderful people in our player community. So here is Spacefolk City. Spacefolk City is a very light kind of city builder made specifically for VR. Let's cover some basics first. To move around, you'll have your grip controllers on both of your VR controllers, and if you hold them in, as Therése is doing now, you'll pan yourself around. If you use them both at the same time, you can rotate yourself. And if you have room scale, you can actually also walk around your city if you have a large enough space for playing the game. So, in Spacefolk City, we have Spacefolk, and we have a hot dog folk right in front of us here. And Spacefolk all have an interest that is matched with what they look like. So this hot dog folk loves hot dogs. Isn't he cute? Oh, look at... adorable. Adorable. Let's cover the basics first. Now, you can see around here, there are asteroids flying about. The basic building resource in Spacefolk City is called scrap. And to make scrap, you grab one of these asteroids with the trigger on your controller and you stretch it and you pull it, and then eventually it will pop open like that. And the little things that you see coming out of those, these are scrap, and it's your basic building resource. So throughout the game, you'll be pulling scrap the whole way through. There are more efficient ways to collect the building resources as well, which we'll cover later on. Okay, Therése is having a great time popping lots of this. It's very satisfying, isn't it?
It is.
You can actually hand the scrap directly to the Spacefolk as well. Now, the first thing that we need to build is a power station. And to do that, you'll need to access the shop. So with the upper button on your controller, so it's the Y or B button on either side of an Oculus controller, you will open up the shop. Then you can see the shop has various pages, and you can use the left and right of the thumbstick of the same controller to scroll between the different pages of the shop. Let's go to this one, and you can see there's power station. It's the first thing that we need to build to get our city started. When you pull out the power station, you just grab it, pull it out, pop, there it is. Now, before, you can see in the tutorial level that we're playing here, there's a convenient guide that shows you a good place to place to set down your power station. But just for clarity, power stations need to be placed close to one of these purple power clouds that you can see. Whoops, there we go.
These ones.
Yeah, that's it. That's the most important thing. The second important thing is that you can see that the power station has this round door. The door has to be placed so that there is a platform just underneath the door so that a Spacefolk can access it. So in this case, in this tutorial, the best place to put it is right here. And as
actually the only place you can put it.
That's right. I think
in the tutorial.
If you want to play like a pro, you can actually orient the power station sideways or upside down as well. If like that.
Later on, you could do that if you wanted, but tutorial is only this spot.
Yep. So yeah, you can see as Therése has done there, you can place it here, and there's a platform just below where the door is so that a Spacefolk can get there. Now, in order to build it, we need to ask our Spacefolk to do that. You pick up the Spacefolk, like that. And you can see that there is a little icon that shows at the doorway. So to assign a Spacefolk a role or a job, you drag them to the doorways of buildings. And this is why it's important to make sure that the doorway has a platform underneath it so that it is accessible to the folk. So let's do that. There we go. And as you can see, this little Spacefolk has been given a hard hat to show that they are a construction folk. So they're going to keep that job for the duration of the game, basically, until you assign them another job. And there are a few other jobs that Spacefolk can have, which we'll touch on later. The Spacefolk will automatically walk around to pick up the construction scrap that they need to build, or you can do what Therése is doing and just directly give it to them, which obviously saves time and helps things go a little faster. All right. Next step is our Spacefolk needs a home. Again, let's go to the shop. And we're going to drag out a house. By the way, as a little pro tip here, you can see that there are little arrows. If you're not really happy with the shape of the house that the shop is giving you, you can actually use the left and right thumbstick control to scroll between different versions of the building until you find one that is nice, that you think will be good for your city. So you want to choose one there, Therése? Good choice.
This one.
All right, so here's an unbuilt home. Now, let's talk a little bit about placing buildings. You can see here that there is a green square. This shows the power range of this power station. In order to place something correctly, it needs to fulfill some basic criteria. Number one, it needs to be within or touching this power distribution area. So you can actually see that in this case, like right there where Therése has it, it's actually not inside the power cube, but it's actually slightly touching it, which is good enough.
Yeah. While here,
yep,
it's not good.
That's right, because that's outside. That's right. Okay, the second thing that needs to happen is it needs to be in contact with some ground piece from the existing city. So, right...
Yeah, I can't just drop it out here,
no.
As you can see.
That's right.
Yeah.
It says connect to city because it's actually not connected to anything. So it needs to be touching some part of the existing city. And as with the power station, you need to make sure that a doorway is accessible. And you'll notice, just before you put it down, Therése, can you just turn it around a bit? Yeah, you notice that actually these houses are kind of omnidirectional. There's no top or bottom. So you can actually build them like that as well. If that doorway was accessible, you could actually build it like that so that they drop down into the doorway instead of walking into it sideways.
I think it is actually accessible even now.
Yeah, I think they just creep across the side there, don't they?
Yeah. So like a fun thing is to you can use it to access other areas if you want to as well. So like if I build it like this, if I build a platform down here later, they can actually come out this way as well. That's
right. It's Spacefolk are very friendly. They have no problems with total strangers just walking straight through their houses. It's great.
Yeah.
If only real society worked like that, right? Just somebody walks in. Therése has placed this, and her folk has now automatically come to start building it. So construction folk basically walk around looking for construction sites to go and apply their skills to. So automatically the Spacefolk will start building as soon as something fulfills those placement criteria that I just mentioned. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'll just explain this while the construction is going on. Each Spacefolk has an interest which you can see by basically what their head is. So a hot dog folk likes hot dogs. In order to make buildings that are usable for a hot dog folk, you need to decorate them with hot dog items. So to do that, we go back to the shop again. There we go. And if you scroll across now, here is the hot dog part of the shop. And we have a bunch of items. Each one of these is worth a certain amount of scrap, which is the number that you see there. You can see, by the way, on the bottom right-hand corner, it shows you your total scrap. So Therése has 50 at this point. Oh, by the way, on the left-hand side there, you says 0 of 3. So when you pull out a building and it is not yet constructed, that's what we call a construction site. you can have a maximum of 3 unbuilt buildings at one time. So that's important to remember. Don't go placing a load of buildings all over your city just waiting for waiting for folk with a construction job to go and build them. It's usually better to do them at least up to 3 and let them build some things before you add too many more construction sites. Anyway, I digress. We need to decorate this home for our hot dog folk to be happy with it. So we'll choose one of these, and basically you just place it anywhere you like onto the building. And now you can see it changes to waiting for occupant. And this little guy will move in. Nice. So now this home belongs to this spacefolk. I think you can actually see him in the window, maybe.
It depends on the building.
Okay.
I don't think sadly, we cannot see him right now.
I think this spacefolk values his privacy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's, at this point, Therése, how about we, he's just gone over to have a look at those nice sausages there.
Yeah, I loves it.
Yep, he loves it. That's great. So the basic premise of Spacefolk City is to keep on building your city like this, and you need to keep your spacefolk happy. And you do that in a number of ways. I think this might be a good time to show our viewers the other menu that you have access to, which is with the bottom button, I think, from the Oculus controllers. There we go.
Yep.
Scrolling through these are basically information panels that show you different things about your city. So here we have sort of a basic summary of the things that you need to do, and we'll go over those a little later. These are the objectives for this scenario. In this case, we're just trying to get 3 spacefolk to our city. And then the next one, this one, he has a name. It's Graham McKetchup. So this shows you a total of the happiness for each one of these spacefolk in your city. So in the case of Graham here, Graham has 1 heart, which I believe would be that Graham has a home. In order to get the spacefolk happiness up, this is just a summary. Well, in a moment we'll show you the other interface that gives you more detailed information about each individual spacefolk. And I think that's all for the information panel. By the way,
you can actually tap it to, in case you lose a folk and you're like, where is that Graham hiding? You can tap it and you can see where he's at.
Right.
And his house is also highlighted in case you're wondering who lives where.
That's right. Nice. Okay, so let's should we pick up the folk and have a look at the folk information? So if we hold here, we have a few little icons here. When you hold a spacefolk, it shows you a little timer there that shows you basically how long they need to go until they want to go home and sleep. So Graham has 9.6 hours left. And we've got 2 icons there that represent their abilities, which we'll go into in just a moment. And if you flick this up, if you flick the thumbstick up, we get more and expanded information here about Graham McKetchup. We can see that at the moment, Graham has the job of being a builder. And Graham's special ability is that he runs. So all spacefolk, as well as their interest, in this case hot dogs, they have a special ability that can be activated to improve their performance in the city. In the case of Graham, Graham can run really, really quickly, and it's quite hilarious. Now, up the top there, you can see that indeed the first happiness heart is complete, and that was that Graham has a home, and we've built a home for Graham, so that's all good. As you scroll across with the thumbstick, we can see these are the other things that need to be done in order to make Graham happy. We need a speed facility, a stamina facility, and a skill facility. And what else do we need? House is defended. We'll talk all about this in a moment. We keep going. Get any hot dog item. Okay, so we can actually get items and give them to Graham. Seen 5 hot dog items around the town. So we have 1 at the moment. And been to a birthday party. So we'll talk all about this in a moment. Let's discuss facilities, shall we, Therése?
Sure.
Okay, so if we just open up the shop. Right, and we'll go to the facility page. Here we are. Can you just look up? There we go. Okay. Folk facilities. basically in Spacefolk City there are, as well as homes, there are a few other kinds of building types, and we're going to talk here about facilities. There are 3 basic types of facilities: speed, skill, and stamina. And basically the facility will give the spacefolk who goes into them exactly the benefit that they are labelled as. So speed, when a spacefolk goes into a speed facility, they'll come out and, as you can see here, boosts 1 folk's walking speed. So they basically walk a little bit faster, which is nice. And the next one is skill. So when they go into this one, it will activate 1 folk's special ability. So in the case of Graham here, it was running. So if Graham goes into a skill facility, then he will be able to run faster. That's his special ability. And then the last one is stamina, keeps 1 folk awake for longer. So this will allow Graham to go for longer without needing to go home and having a sleep. We also have, you can see below, we have medium and large size facilities. These are locked at the moment in this scenario, but the medium facility, that will actually activate 2 folks' special ability, and then the facility will close down for the day, or for a certain amount of time, while it's restocking. And then the third one down below is activate 3 folks' special ability. Now, it's worth mentioning at this point, the eagle-eyed viewers out there might have noticed that there's something else very important to say about how facilities work. And that is, if you can just go to the speed facility at the top left there, that one, decorate with items from 1 interest. When you place a facility, you need to decorate it with an item that a spacefolk would be interested in. So for example, if we place this one, if we put a hot dog item on that, it would make it into a hot dog speed facility, which can provide the speed boost for hot dog spacefolk only. Same with skill. So we'd need to decorate it with hot dogs for Graham to use that, and the same with stamina. And if you just go down to the medium level, as you can see here, the medium-sized facilities, they activate 2 folk special abilities, but you need to decorate with items from 2 interests. So various spacefolk will be coming to your city. We've got 1 hot dog spacefolk at the moment, but when we get other spacefolk that have other interests, then if you want to have a facility that can service both of those spacefolk, the hot dog and the other one, then you need to put not only a hot dog decoration on there, but also a decoration from that other spacefolk's interest as well. And likewise for the 3-person facility down the bottom, they need 3 items from 3 different interests in order to service the spacefolk. Okay, so with all that said, let's build a facility. Which do you want to go for, Therése?
I think I want the skill one. I prefer it. It makes him run really fast. It's really cute.
Okay.
So this one's the same, that I can choose the direction of it depending on how I want my folk to move around in the city. I think I will place it like that.
Okay. Where's
okay.
Yeah, spacefolk will automatically walk around to try and find the next building site, these construction folk. But if you don't want to wait for that, you can do what Therése did just now and just directly put them there. Sometimes they're not up for the work and they may be wanting to go home to sleep or going to go and check out a hot dog decoration around the town. Sometimes they're not so cooperative, but that's realism, isn't it?
Yes. They are also easily distracted.
Yes.
Just like humans.
Just like humans. Okay, so the building says decorate, so we need another hot dog decoration so that Graham will use this.
Bush. Oh, that's another
look at that.
thing to mention, I guess.
Yeah, so what Therése is doing here is, just like you can stretch, you can pull apart the asteroids by stretching them, pulling them apart. You can actually do the same with decorations. If you stretch them, they'll become larger, and if you shrink them, they become smaller, and if you shrink them, they become really tiny. These tiny ones you can actually give to spacefolk.
Oh, you already have a fence.
Sideways.
You're already way ahead of me.
Graham loves his fences.
Yep.
Yeah, the smaller ones you can actually give to them. So you might recall that on Graham's folk overview it said, has any hot dog item. that's how you give them a hot dog item. You shrink them down, and then you can just hand it to them.
So yeah, if I actually grab this guy... Oh, did you see? He's walking really fast now. He's like...
Yeah, that's because... look, he's got cool sneakers on as well. I love those sneakers. I wish I had sneakers like those.
So yeah, now we can see that he has get any hot dog item, which he did get it from the facility, which sometimes happens. If they go into a facility, sometimes they come out with an item. And then he has the skill facility near home part as well now.
That's right. So, yeah, because Graham... I love that. I love watching Spacefolk walk quickly. It's like you wish society worked like that, just people walking around really fast every day to get things done. Okay.
Copy, man.
Now you can see actually there's a sign on what's the name of this store? It's the Burnt Sausage Guild.
Burnt Sausage Guild.
Excellent. So you can see there's a sign on there that says restocking. So once a Spacefolk goes in there and gets their benefit from the facility, in order for it to service another single Spacefolk, it needs to restock, and that takes a little bit of time. Okay. Let's talk now about how to get new Spacefolk to your city. The process is very simple. Basically, the way that you get Spacefolk to your city is via the Space Bus. And if you just scroll around to have a look at this wonderful looking garage, this is the...
Wow.
Yeah. Slightly kind of slightly old-looking shutter door garage. Inside the garage is the space bus, and the space bus will fly off to rescue other spacefolk around this area and bring them back to your city. By the way, in case you didn't know, there is actually a story going on here. If Therése looks right up, we'll see this burning hot sun. Oh, you got a little further. There we go. That is the sun, which is slowly going supernova, and you have to rescue spacefolk around this solar system by helping them create this little city and eventually finding a way to blast themselves away to safety from the impending doom of the sun. Now, back to the space bus. The space bus needs a certain level of overall happiness in the city in order to launch. You can check how far away you are from that by looking at this overview panel. And you can see there on the city needs, it says the rescue bus. Did I call it space bus? I did, didn't I? I should say rescue bus. It needs one more happiness in order to launch. So in order to do that, if you'll recall, we can always go back to Graham and check what else Graham needs to be happy. So what else do we have? We need one more of these hearts. Maybe one of these facilities might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think in the tutorial you can't really do the house defended or the birthday party,
right.
So we're going to ignore those and focus on the facility part.
Okay. Let's choose another facility and get that going.
Let's see. Maybe a stamina. He's already like walking really fast because of the type of folk he is, so...
Good choice.
So you can see now that these are unlocked, but because we only have one interest right now, we can't actually use these because we need 2 interests, like Alex was saying before, 2 or 3 interests. So I'm just gonna stick with the small ones for now.
Good idea. Okay, so again, we want to place this so it's inside or touching the green cube and then connected to another part of the city and with some kind of platform underneath the door so they can access it. You'll notice that Therése just placed it there, sort of a half step. You can also place for a half step like that if you like. Okay, so once this is built, I think you may need a little bit more scrap there.
Yep.
Once this is built and decorated with... Oh, Therése is swimming away to...
Sorry, gotta get some scrap.
Yep. More scrap.
Oi, where are you going?
Okay.
What about the scrap? Okay, gotta find some more scrap. Let's see.
There we go. Okay, and then now we need to decorate it for our hot dog folks. So some kind of hot dog decoration. Do we have something? I guess you could put one of those fences on if you wanted, or you could make a new...
I'm gonna build something.
Okay.
No, let me grab a fence, actually. Do I want a fence? Let's make a huge fence. Like that.
Oh, they're more like kind of towers now, aren't they? That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the name of this this facility? It's called the Burnt Ketchup Cafe. So we have the burnt... Oh, we have 2 burnt... This must be a franchise. 2 burnt ketchup places.
Yeah.
Oh, no, burnt sausage and burnt ketchup.
It's a burnt franchise.
Yeah, burning franchise.
Yum. Yum.
Hot stuff. Oh, dear. Okay, so... Whoa. Therése.
Sorry, I'm trying to chase these without making anyone sick from my crazy moving about. Okay.
Okay, so where are we at? Now, we should have... Okay, yes. So, now we've got enough happiness to launch the space bus, which is great. In order to actually get the space bus to launch now that it's capable of launching, we need to build a new house and decorate it. So basically the way that it works with all space folk after your first one, they come when there is a house that looks nice and ready for them. So, which house are you going to choose?
Let's see. I think maybe this one.
Okay.
I'll place it like that. Let me just place a little platform to... like so.
There we go. It's like a red carpet.
Yeah. And I'm gonna put this decoration on already, because I already know I want it to be a sausage hot dog house.
That's right.
Get this one too.
Okay, and now the space bus. There it is, the rescue bus or space bus. Excellent. So in a moment, the did you notice that the rescue bus is self-driving?
To new folk. Not the best place to place this building, but
Well, at least it's close. It's close, so they can. What's it? Anum Ketchupson.
yes,
Anum, is that a boy folk or a girl folk? I don't really know.
I am not sure.
Graham and Anum.
Great.
Okay.
So now we have 2.
We have 2.
Yeah.
Now you might be wondering at this point. Wait a moment. If you only have hot dog folk, hold on, don't open that yet. Here we go. So you might be wondering at this point if you only have hot dog folk and you need to decorate a home with an item in order to attract a space folk to come there, how do you get space folk of different interests to come to your city? Wouldn't it end up that they'd always be hot dog folk because you only have access to hot dog items? Well, good question. Basically, sometimes, very occasionally, you'll get these glowing asteroids, and Therése has collected 2 of them here. I think in this tutorial they'll also be hot dog ones, but later on in the game what happens is sometimes when you pull apart one of these, you'll get an item that is actually not... It's from an interest or a space folk that's not represented in your city. Let's pull these apart and see what we have. Okay, so we got the...
Hot dog van.
Hot dog van. All right. And what's that one? Also, I think it's only hot dogs in this.
It depends, actually. Sometimes you do get a new one, but most likely it will be the same one. But it does happen that you get a new one in the tutorial as well.
Right.
But yeah, as you can see, we got a bunch of new hot dog items. Oops, dropped it.
Okay. What we're going to do now then, so we didn't get any items from other interests here, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is get a 3rd space folk to complete that last objective of getting 3 space folk into our city here. Let's build a home and decorate it with one of these many hot dog items that we've discovered. And once that's built, again, a decorated home will attract a space folk, provided that you have enough overall happiness in the city for the rescue bus to launch. So just find a place for this. Oh, that's a clever place.
Gotta connect it all together, you know?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta pop some more asteroids.
Yep, to get that. Maybe you could get Unummed to do some building as well.
Yeah, he's not assigned, so he's not gonna do anything. He's just gonna enjoy himself and walk around. So now I've assigned him to also be a builder.
Right.
Which means they need more scrap. There you go. It's actually this guy, I think. Oh, he got distracted. He was gonna build, but...
He's enjoying that fork.
We got a banana!
Oh, banana! It's too late. I think
We got banana.
Oh, no.
It's too late, but...
No, you might be able to get a banana.
I can actually decorate it. Yeah. Let's get a banana folk.
Is it... Okay.
Just need a...
Need to finish it.
Ooh. You just grab that out of the air.
So you may have figured out by now that, of course, the facilities that Therése has created in this specific city are all catering towards hot dog spacefolk. So when the banana spacefolk comes, you've got a whole new responsibility now to basically create facilities for the banana spacefolk as well. Or if, like we mentioned before, you can create those medium-sized facilities that can cater to two different types of spacefolk. So you would need to decorate that with a hot dog and with a banana decoration item. Look at that.
Our banana folk.
It's also brought a banana table.
Yes, you gotta bring, your precious items, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Another thing to mention here about the layouts of the cities, that is that Spacefolk cities don't necessarily have to be flat in the traditional way that you might, expect from a city building game. They can actually also be vertical, and that's because these buildings are omnidirectional, so they don't necessarily have to form a flat plane. You can also build them up or out or sideways or upside down or any way you like. Okay, how to save your work. So the game is actually automatically saving every time you complete an objective, but if you want to manually save, you can do that here. This is the pause menu, and you can open this with the left controller's Oculus button. As well as some sound options, there's a button here which can be used to manually save. The one exception is that here in the first tutorial scenario, manually saving is disabled, but the autosave is still saving your city after each objective. In other scenarios after the first one, manually saving is available at any time.
Yeah.
At this point, let's also talk about the bin and the dynamite in the top corner of the shop there.
Yes. Let's do that.
If, for example, you have something in the city that you want to demolish, maybe you don't like it and you want to demolish it, the first
What an ugly chair.
What an ugly chair.
I hate it. I don't want it.
We put that in the bin.
Whee!
Okay.
It is thrown away.
It gives you the scrap back, doesn't it? I believe if you do that, or doesn't it?
I believe it does. But no, it does not.
It doesn't.
It just throws it away.
Well, that's
It does not.
your loss, isn't it? We've got to...
Yes.
Less waste. The other thing is the dynamite. The dynamite works on buildings. So if you place a building or you pull a building out of the store and you realize, actually, I don't really want this.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have the same house right here. No, it's not the same, but it's similar. I don't like it.
Yeah, so you can just
do this.
drop the dynamite on there. And then after this much time, it will. There we go. And that's how you demolish buildings if you place something that you don't want. And in that case, it does actually... Oh, actually, you haven't used scrap because you haven't built it yet, have you? So that works out fine.
Yeah, but if you have built it, if I was to demolish any of these ones that we have spent scrap on, you would get some scrap back.
That's right.
It. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to some more advanced gameplay. In Spacefolk City, you'll find that if you pop too many asteroids and you have too much scrap lying around your city, then I won't spoil it for you, but something comes to steal the scrap from you, which is obviously not really an ideal situation. So the best way around that is to create these warehouses. And as you can see, if you zoom right up there, you'll see that the warehouse has a capacity of 500 scrap. So that's far more than you would actually want lying around in your city. So they're good things to have at later points in the game when you basically want to keep your city nice and tidy. When you have these warehouses, if you manually pop some scrap like that, then the scrap automatically goes into the warehouse. And then the same way when construction folk are working, they will take... Oh, look at that.
Oh, it just destroyed it.
Oh, no. Well, I guess you're going to have to...
I'll just start over.
You have to...
That's funny.
You have to build a new one.
I guess so.
Yeah, so when you're building, then construction folk will automatically get their scrap from the warehouses. Now, just like you have construction folk, you can actually assign a space folk the role of working at one of these warehouses.
He's already assigned.
They get these green helmets, and I love the beach folk haven't quite worked out the point of a helmet. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not really going to.
If you have a shovel on your head, you can't help it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Can't do it.
You know, that's the way it works. So yeah, you have the job of working at one of these warehouses, and then you will cart scrap to and from warehouses if you have that job. So, as far as making scrap more efficiently, the best kind of building to have is a refinery, which just got destroyed. So we're going to have to build a new one.
Yes, it's the one that was right there.
Okay, so this is what a refinery looks like. Right there.
Add folk, then insert asteroids to produce more scrap.
That's right.
So I'm just going to place it right where it was.
Yeah, so basically with refineries, just as the name might suggest, a refinery will refine asteroids. So you drop scrap into the grinders at the top. No, sorry, you drop asteroids into the grinders at the top. And they're good things to have because actually a refinery will give you more scrap than you can actually do by pulling apart yourself. I believe that if you pull apart an asteroid, you'll get like 10 scrap. But a refinery gives you... Well, let's find out.
Yes, so if I pop it myself, I get 10.
Now we actually need to get some space folk to work at the refinery in order for it to actually function.
Yes, and we actually have a folk type that is extra good. The gardening folk. He's sleeping, but he will give even more scrap. He will do it faster. But until he wakes up, we'll just grab this guy. Just get all his items off him.
As I get the orange... There was an asteroid that Therése put in there, so there we go. He gets 30 scrap.
So it's more than double.
That's right. And Therése, do you want to just explain how we get the scrap from the refineries into the warehouses?
Yes. So, I mean, you can just grab it and pop it in yourself, like that. Or you can grab one of the folk and, pop them in here, and they will actually seek out scrap and bring them to the warehouses.
That's right.
For you. Like so. Slowly. So, like, a pro tip that I like to do, which I have not done here, is actually, because when the refinery is going, it pops out scrap quite violently. If you place a warehouse like this, like that, anything that falls onto it will automatically get added. So this usually means that it will get added automatically. So usually I do that, but I have not done it here, but that's like a pro tip.
Pro moves. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Now that we've covered the warehouses and the refineries, let's explain what just happened a moment ago where Therése's previous refinery got obliterated by something.
Yes.
As you might remember, the basic amazing epic storyline of Spacefolk City is that these spacefolk are trying to survive in the vicinity of a sun that is going supernova, and periodically from the sun get launched solar flares. And basically solar flares, they basically fly into your city and destroy parts of your city. As you can see there, next emission today. Okay, so it's going to be pretty soon.
Yes. And it's only some levels. It's not all levels. So,
right.
And it will say on the title screen which ones have it.
That's right. Yeah. You can see, you may have noticed that because Therése already has these built, you'll see these faint blue circles. These are produced by these defense beacons, and that is this
these ones.
Space age looking thing here. Defense beacons, you build them, and they provide an area, a bubble of protection for anything that is touching this bubble. And they provide a basic level of protection, just like they are. Or you can drop a Spacefolk onto them, and they will become defense station workers.
That's not a great place to pop inside the cloud.
There we go.
There you go. You can see that it grows a little bit.
Yeah, and then the bubble gets a little larger. And I believe some of the Spacefolk have a special ability, which is they are defense beacon specialists. And those Spacefolk will...
These guys.
Yeah, they will make the defense bubble even larger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might recall that actually the if you just grab one of these Spacefolk and show the folk information UI, one of their happiness hearts was that their home is defended. It is that one. House is defended. So if the house is inside the range of one of these defense beacon bubbles, then they'll get that happiness heart as well to show that they're happy that their house is within the protection range of one of these beacons. When the solar flares come from the sun, you'll see a faint red line that indicates that this is where the solar flare is going to impact. So you have a chance then to quickly build a beacon as fast as you can to get the protection for that spot. Or you can do what Therése has done here and build beacons in various places around your city so that everything is protected.
Or not protected, as we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Or not protected.
Yeah, I think I was like, oh, it's fine. It's almost protecting everything, so it will probably be fine, but it was not.
That's right. Oh, well.
Apparently. Yeah.
Now, let's now cut to show the very last kind of building that you can build, and this is for the last two levels, the last two scenarios of the game. Okay, here we are in one of Therése's other masterpieces. This is from scenario 7, and the objective in this scenario is actually to blast your city away to safety from the dangerous sun above. So in order to do that, if you just open up the shop, we can see from the shop that there is this last kind of building, which is called a rocket booster. Add 4 folk of the same type to blast your city away to safety. In this specific case, where we just need one of them, Therése has already built this rocket booster facility here, and as you can see, it has 4 little terminals. You need to add 4 Spacefolk of the same type. So that means that in this case, Therése has got a Stargazer folk there. So adding the gardening folk isn't going to help, but if you add another Stargazer folk, we need 4 of them. Do we actually have 4?
Actually, if I add one of these, I think he says...
Yeah, he says, I don't know about...
I think he says he cannot... Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's find the last one. There we go.
Yep, so if you add 4 of them... Let's boost. Begin launch sequence. Look at this. This is drama. Unfolding. Reticulating splines. Ignition started. 5. 4. It never gets old. And there you go. So, yeah, basically in Spacefolk City, unlike traditional city building games, we didn't really want it to be a game where you just built and built and built until you got bored or tired and started again. We wanted there to be kind of like an ending to it, and this is the ending that we came up with. So, in this specific case...
but don't worry. Yeah, after you've blasted up your city, it will still be there. If you go back to the menu and you come back, it will be saved before you blast it off.
That's
so
right.
It's not gone forever.
No, that's right. So if you've built an amazing city and you're really enjoying it and you just want to keep on playing in that city, that's fine. All you need to do is just make sure that you don't add 4 folk of the same interest type onto the rocket booster, and then it will never blast away and it's going to be fine. That's how that works.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Let's just go back to the top menu while we're here. The last thing to just show, which is pretty self-explanatory, is in the top menu under Play here. This is easy to figure out, but we've got all of the scenarios that are available to play here. That one on the very left was the first tutorial scenario called Start Town. You can actually, you don't need to do this now, Therése, but you can actually resume, and that will actually resume from the final point where you completed the Start Town. So if you really enjoyed your Start Town and you want to play and build that up more, you can do that there by just resuming the one that you've already completed. And then all the way over to the very right, we have the sandbox. And the sandbox is basically, as it says, no objectives, you just build. You can activate rocket boosters if you want. You will have solar flares, I believe, in the sandbox. Is that right, Therése?
Nope.
Oh, you don't?
Not in the sandbox. It's only, you can see these little solar flare things here. So in these, I don't know what to call them, little solar flare indications. So it's in these 3 levels that have solar flares.
Right, that's right.
Only. Not in the sandbox because it's just for fun and no threats.
Excellent.
No nothing.
All right. Thank you for watching. This has been our little walkthrough of the mechanics of Spacefolk City. If we've forgotten anything and you're confused, then as I mentioned at the beginning, please feel free to join our Discord. We will keep an eye on this video if there are any comments here, but the better place to ask questions really is our Discord, because we have a wonderful community of really, really friendly players who will be happy to help you out with questions, or Therése, myself, or Chris. We're the developers behind Spacefolk City. We try to check in there as often as we can to answer people's questions and to check out your amazing cities. Some of our players do incredible things with Spacefolk City, building just amazing cities, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you may get to catch one of those on the Discord as well, so please feel free to join. Other than that, we also have a Twitter account, which is the main place to go for updates on the game and what we're doing as a company. That is Spacefolk City on Twitter, and we also have our Twitter account, Moon Mode Games, which is where we post things more related to our company and what we're up to. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the Discord, hopefully, and otherwise, have a great time playing Spacefolk City.
Goodbye. This whole time, my alarm has been going on in my ear.
What alarm?
Can you believe that?
Your phone alarm.
I have my phone alarm. Luckily, no one can hear it but me.
Okay. It's on a serious angle. If you want to worry about that.
Wait, which way is it?
Clockwise. It's anti-clockwise skewed. So.
Clockwise.
Other way. Yeah.
Okay, so then anti-clockwise is what I should turn it.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay. Are you recording?
Okay.
You got the stream going?
I'm recording.
Mouse pointer?
Yeah. Yeah, it's off somewhere on the side.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, 3,
okay.
2, 1.
Clap.
Oh, that was way out of time. Can we do that again?
Sure.
You count it.
3, 2, 1.